Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I am Jishnu and I have recently given the GRE and I've got a very good score. So I've gotten a score of 331 out of 340. I got a 170 out of 170 in the quant section and a 161 out of 170 in the verbal section. And I am making this video to help you out and share my experience, how I prepared and what I did, so that you can also get a great score. So for us to ace any exam, the first and foremost thing that we must do is to understand the test pattern and test format in and out. That is, what are the kind of questions that are there, what is the time duration for each section, what is the time duration we can afford for a question. So things like that, if we understand better first, then the rest of the preparation becomes much easier, right? So let's go ahead and get started with the test format, the updated test format. So early this year, GRE has changed the format from a longer version to a much shorter version. So we will understand the format of the new GRE in this video, and subsequently I will make two videos, one for verbal and one for quants, suggesting what are the preparation materials, how can you prepare and get a good score in the shortest possible duration of time. So these things we will discuss in the subsequent two videos. In this video, we will understand the format of the exam and a few more things that I did for my exam. Okay, so let's get started. So firstly, how much is the GRE out of? The GRE exam is out of a 340, right? So the maximum score that you can achieve on the GRE is a 340. The GRE exam has 5 major sections, right? So we have 2 verbal sections, 2 quantitative sections, and 1 analytical writing section. Right. Now, this 340 score is not for all the 3 sections, right? The 340 score is only for the first 4 sections. The analytical writing is a separate section and you get the score separately for it, right? So this is entirely separate, and most universities do not consider the analytical writing score as important as the other 4 sections score. So the analytical writing, because analytical writing is your writing skill, or your English writing is anyways assessed through the essays you submit to the universities, right? So that is the reason the analytical writing is not as important as the rest of the 4 sections. So you can move the preparation of the analytical writing to the very end. Maybe you can prepare the analytical writing for maybe the last 1 week or so that it won't waste much of your time. So you can look at sample questions, sample essays, essays of highly scored essays. So these things you can do in the last 1 week maybe before your preparation, right? So now let us go to the let us go and see how these sections are divided. So as we discussed, there are two verbal and 2 quant sections, right? Now in these 4 sections, they may appear in any order. You may have 2 verbal back to back and then 2 quants, or 2 quants and 2 verbal, or 1 verbal, 1 quant, 1 verbal, 1 quant, or 1 quant, 1 verbal, 1 quant, 1 verbal. So these sections may appear in any order, any random order. You can't predict that. Okay, so that is one thing. Now let us look at the number of questions in each section. Okay, so and the time for each of them. So the first verbal section has 12 questions and 18 minutes. Okay, so you have 12 questions and 18 minutes. The second verbal section has 18 questions, 15 questions and 23 minutes. Right. So what this means is the pattern or the kind of questions that you have are pretty similar in both the sections. Just the number of questions and the time is different. Okay. Now, the first quant section has 12 questions, same, and a time of 21 minutes. And the second quant section has 15 questions, same like the English or the verbal, and 26 minutes for giving the exam. And you will not have any break. So this is the shorter GRE. So in the previous longer GRE, there was a gap of 10 minutes that you could take in the exam. But in this shorter GRE exam, you will not have any break that you can take. If you take any break, that will be out of your exam time. So it is preferred that you drink your water, go to the washroom before the exam starts itself. Okay. Now, the next thing is, let us discuss the kinds of questions that are there. Okay, so in the verbal section, you have primarily 3 or 4 types of questions that you get. The first one is fill in the blanks. So mostly the kind of to excel in the verbal section, the trick is vocabulary. So your vocabulary has to be very good. So in my personal experience, I learned over 2000 words with meanings, and I got a 161 out of 170, which is a pretty good score. So my suggestion would be learn at least anywhere between 1500 to 2000 words would be a minimum to get a 160 plus score. So fill in the blanks would definitely be based on the word meanings. So you will have a blank in a sentence, and you will have options to choose from. So you need to choose the right word that fits into the blank, right? So these also, there are 3 types. You have single blank, only one blank will be there in the given passage or given sentence. Then you will have 2 blanks, and then you will have 3 blanks. So 3 blanks are the toughest, because all the 3 blanks, the words that you put in all the 3 blanks need to be correct for you to get the score on that question. There's no partial marking here. So the next type that we all know is very important is the reading comprehension. So the reading comprehension again has 3 types. You have a short passage which might have 1 or 2 questions. Then you have the medium-sized passage which may have 3 questions, and the last one is the long type of passage which will have more than 3 or more questions. So the long passages are the toughest, because you will have to read very fast. So you will have to have enough practice before the exam. Okay. Then after the reading comprehension, another kind of question is you will have a sentence given, that is this is called sentence equivalence. So in this sentence equivalence kind of questions, you will have to choose 2 options, and when you put each of those words in the sentence individually, the sentence should have the same overall meaning. So that is the sentence equivalence kind of question. And so majorly these are the different kinds of questions that you have in the verbal section. Coming to the quant section, in the quant section you have again 3 or 4 major kind of questions. The first one is comparison. That is, you will be given 2 quantities to compare, and you will have to choose which quantity is larger. Or so you will have 4 options in this case. option A is that these quantities, let's say they are A and B. So A is always larger than B. So that is your first option. B is always larger than A. A is equal to B. Cannot determine from the given information. So these are typically the 4 options that you get, and you will have to choose one out of these 4 options. Okay, this is the first kind of question. The second kind of question is you will be given a numerical to solve, and you will have to fill in the value in a box there. So that you will have a box over there, and you will have to fill in the answer that you get. This is the second kind of question. The third kind of question is the pretty standard one. You will have a question or a numerical to solve, and you will have options to choose from, and you have to choose the right answer. And finally, you have the data interpretation kind of questions, in which you will be given a graph or multiple graphs. Sometimes it might be a bar graph and a pie chart. So in that case, you will be asked questions based on the given graphs. Okay, so these are the major kinds of questions in the quant section. So if you have watched the video till here, you have understood the format of the exam, that is the durations and the number of questions, and the different types of questions that are there in the exam, that come up in the exam. So the important things that you need to do before you actually start preparing are, in my opinion, you have to put a target score. Okay, in my case, because I had enough time, I prepared for around 6 months, so I had enough time, so my target score was 330 plus, right? But generally speaking, 320 plus is a pretty good score, right? So 320 plus, you can have a 320 plus as your target, or a 325 plus as your target, based on your personal, like the kind of universities that you are targeting to, and based on what you think you can prepare. So for this, to assess this, you can also give a mock test. There are many free mock tests available. I will share the links of the free mock exams in the description below. You also have one from ETS, which you will get when you register for the exam. The second one is you have free tests by Magoosh and many other platforms. So I will share a few of the links in the description. You can look at those, you can give them a try, you can give one exam or a couple of exams and understand where you are at, how much time you have, and how much you would like to improve that, right? So you can set a target score, that is very important. The second one is fix a duration. Like if you're applying for next year, then when do you want to give the GRE, right? How much time do you want to prepare? Do you want to prepare for 2 months? Do you want to prepare for 4 months? Or 6 months? Whatever time you have, based on your when do you want to apply, what kind of scores do you want, and what kind of universities you want to apply, you can fix the time. So the third point that I want to discuss about is, when should you book the test, right? So in this, you have 2 approaches. Let me first tell you the approach that I followed. So I've decided that once I get my desired score on my mock exams consistently, that is when I will book the test. That is what I had decided, because I did not want to take a chance. I wanted to get my desired score on the exam. So once I got, I've taken so many tests. Once I've given like 15 mock tests, and in all the mock tests I got a 320 plus. That is when I decided that okay, I am ready, I am going to book the test. So once you start getting your desired score consistently in a few mock exams, then you can book the test. That is a approach that I followed. But another approach is based on the time duration or the preparation time that you set for yourself. So let's say you set 4 months. I want to prepare for a maximum of 4 months. Based on that, 4 months ahead, you book the test, right? So I decided that from today I'm going to prepare for 4 months. So 4 months, after 4 months, this is December, right? December, Jan, Feb, March. You book your test in March, in the end of March. So that is the second approach. What this approach gives you is, it gives you the seriousness. You will say, okay, I spent so much amount on booking the test and I have exactly 4 months. You will get that seriousness and you will put in the effort. So that is what this approach brings in for you, because ultimately you need to put in that effort to get a good score. But in the first approach, you can be sure that okay, whatever score, you'll be a few marks above or below your desired score, but at least it will be around your desired score, right? So if you're getting consistently 320 plus in the mock exams, you are most likely to get a 320 plus in the actual exam. So you can be sure that way. So this is my advice. So these are the 3 points that you need to decide upon before you start your preparation. Finally, once all these 3 things are done, prepare a plan. Okay, make an elaborate plan on what topics you want to cover, when and how, by when do you want to finish it, and stick to it. Sticking to your plan is the most important thing ever. Whether your plan is a little lenient or it is a very strict plan, you have to stick to it. That is when you have to stick to it and get in the consistent efforts. That is the only way you can get a good score, right? So stick to it, prepare a plan. I will also discuss my plan in the next video. So you have to stick to it, and that will help you get a great score. So most importantly, your last few days, at least 1 to 2 weeks, based on the total duration you're setting, 1 to 2 weeks at least should be given for mock exams. You have to give at least 10 mock exams to get an accurate estimate and practice, and you will get that time, how to manage your time in the exam. That practice will happen only through mock exams. So in the next 2 videos, we will be discussing the verbal section and the quant section in detail, the type of questions in detail, and the preparation approach, how to prepare your preparation plan, and also the resources, what books, what websites, where to practice mock tests. All this will be there in the next 2 videos. Okay, so do watch those videos and I'm sure you will do great. So all the best on your GRE journey. Thank you for watching.